You know what's weird as hell is women rule the internet. Okay, they have Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all the dating apps. One time my little sister sent me a picture of a dating app she had, and she had 2,500, you know, people that swiped up on her profile, which is pretty normal. She's a pretty cute girl. A lot of guys always fight over whatever church she goes to. Guys are always trying to date her. Justin and Jake have always been sliding in the DMs. They're trying to get to know her. And so I say this because it's such a weird thing. I don't have any dating apps. I don't have a lot of social media presence. I don't really care about that. I do have a YouTube channel. As you guys know, I like to preach. I like to just say whatever's on my mind. And so I don't have a big, internet presence, but I always assume girls rule the internet and they have so much power on the internet, and that could give you a really big boost of confidence. I would think, if I had 3,000 suitors on my phone, I would become a Super Saiyan ninja, dude. I'd be a menace to society. My confidence would be so high. I would just I probably wouldn't be alive in 6 months because I would be a menace. So, I find it interesting, I go to the gym every day, and I assume a lot of these women that go to the gym are really confident because the whole world is basically the digital world has put them on this giant pedestal. But what I keep finding out is, girls will come really, really uncomfortably close to me during a workout and get in doggy style positions, all kinds of crazy madness at the gym. They'll literally, ask me questions. Are you using this? You know, they'll really get in my vicinity. Like I just had, today and yesterday, I would just literally be in a corner by myself. And the next thing I know, there was a blonde right next to me here and a blonde right next to me here. And I was like, damn, okay. And then they're playing with their hair. All of a sudden, they're letting their hair down, putting it back in a ponytail. They're not even really focusing on their workout. And I'm just sitting here bending over the bench and I'm pulling this weight. I'm cranking this weight. I'm focusing on what I'm doing. But today, there's this girl that followed me at least 4 times, and she was a very attractive blonde, and she had a matching outfit that was like it was like a peach color top and bottom, and she was covered up, which was shocking. She actually looked covered up. She wasn't revealing a lot of skin, but she really just kept getting close to me, and I was at a point where I was standing up doing my workout, and she was like on her knees right next to me, like basically my junk was like right in her face. And I thought, this girl, why, I'm usually one to start to initiate the conversation. I have no problem with that. But I was thinking, with the whole world on, pedestalizing women and the amount of power that comes with that, you can't just say hello. You can't just say hi. You can't just say anything. Hey, freckle face. Hey, ginger. Anything. Hey, redhead, what's up? What are you working out today? Anything. Like, I like your jacket. I like your sweater. I like your shorts. Hey, what are you working out today? Anything. You're just going to sit here and be so sexually close to me and want me to say hello. And don't get me wrong, I will say hello. And I think that's what's happening is lately I've been approaching very attractive women and actually just making them, not making them laugh, but yeah, they kind of laugh, but just kind of having a quick interaction, and then I bounce and go do my workout. And I think what's happening is more and more women, because it only takes 2 seconds. You're looking around the gym, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, that's that one guy. Oh, he's talking to that really attractive girl. Holy cow, what the heck's going on? And so I've just been noticing like an avalanche of women that constantly keep coming into my proximity. But my question today is, why are women so insecure? Like, you're making it obvious. You're in doggy style right in front of me, which, you're on your knees right next to my crotch. You'll do so much sexual stuff to catch my eye, so that I can look at you. but you got no game, you got no riz, you got no confidence just to say something. Um, Actually, one girl that wasn't that attractive to me actually did ask me, she's like, "Are you using this machine?" I could tell she was like building up a lot of courage and she was almost like shaking because she's been, she's been kind of following me around for weeks. That sounds really narcissistic. I don't really care. It's just being honest. I'm not that into myself. But my main question is, why are women so insecure? And I realize that this whole internet thing that's propping up women, it's a nice little facade. It's honestly a pretty little facade. It's cool. It's cool to look at. Like, oh, okay, you must be so high value. You must be so strong and confident and independent, and you have the world by the balls. But anytime I meet a woman in person, man, I'm just like, where is your confidence? You're like slouched, you're scared, you're timid, where's your social skills? I always thought I had really bad social skills, but I don't get it. Like women have no game and they're actually very nervous in person and they'll literally show you that they're interested in you in every single way other than talking to you. That just, I guess, scares the living daylight out of them. And it's like, man, if I had, 2,000, 3,000 people on my dating app, which I don't have any dating apps, I would be a menace to society. This would be like, I'd basically be like, just a complete a menace. I'm just being honest. My confidence would need to be broken down at some point because I would wreak havoc in society with that many potential suitors. Anyways, somebody answer me. What have you noticed that too? Why are women so insecure in person? But on the internet, it just seems like they got it all put together and it's just all so perfect. But I'm not bumping into a lot of like secure chicks that really just, puff their chest out a little bit and stand up straight. Hmm. So it's a weird little dynamic. And I think I already know the answer to my question is that this whole internet thing is a giant facade. It's because most of us men in my generation were grown up with internet porn. And so immediately, you pedestalize this internet version of women and you thought that it was so great because you would get pleasure from it. And now it's been translated into like Instagram where you think, oh, well, women still have this crazy high value thing where it's sex because you're so warped in the brain. But once you can get back to homeostasis, once you can get back to baseline where you're not pedestalizing and idolizing these chicks because you're not a thirsty dog, uncontrollable, undisciplined man, you realize that like the facade is just it's just a sandcastle of sand. It's a castle of sand. And you take one little poke at it and it's like, it's falling apart. What the hell happened? So it's a house of cards. You know what I mean? Um, I just look at chicks in the eye because I'm on, 90 days of not looking at anything crazy. And I can really read and scan people really good. And a lot of chicks seem to be struggling with confidence and just basic human skills. If you think I'm attractive, just say anything. What are you doing? You're literally in the most provocative clothing, in the most crazy position, but you can't be a human being and just say something. That's okay. I don't need you to say anything because if you're my type and you give off the right type of presence, I will approach you and I will reward a proper woman. And that sounds really egotistical. What I mean is I will shoot my shot. I will go and I will in a way I'll reward both of us with some human contact of decency and a good time. And then guess what? I'm not gonna linger. I'm gonna hit the stage left and bounce quick. And then we can keep it's like a magnet. You know, you don't want the magnet to immediately just be attracted. Like there's no like two magnets that are already clinging on. You know, part of the fun is being a magnet, getting a little close and feeling that attraction and then pulling away. And then coming back in a couple of days later and feeling that magnetism, getting a little closer and then pulling it away. And people can call that games or whatever, but that's kind of how we operate as people. We like to get a little close, get a little feel, and then pull away and take a break and, you know, gather our thoughts and chill. But the second you're immediately just clinging on to each other, that's weird. You know, that's kind of like, hey, I need you to hold on. Like, hold on. It's like, no, I just need to feel you a little bit and cool off. Anyways, I hope that made sense. I think we grew up with all this internet porn, and it's really warped everyone's reality. And I've always had this theory that with enough money, you can warp somebody's whole reality. And that's a really sad thing because what if your whole reality is just a castle of sand and it's a house of cards? So don't worship women, man. I realize the more you cleanse yourself of lust and you look at them like people and like little kids sometimes, you're the man. You're supposed to have direction and strength and courage, and you're supposed to live in reality. And sometimes the reality's harsh and it's hard. But if you're looking at porn, you're basically pleasure. You're indulging in too much pleasure and too much fantasy, and that's not where a guy should hang out. You should hang out in reality. And if women are insecure and that's the reality, I can accept that. I can accept an insecure woman, and I'm not afraid of building up an insecure woman. I could help you, you know, help you be strong. And that's what a man, I think, does is if people are insecure around you, you don't try to break them down more. You try to just build them up. And once you see the facade, I see girls already know it's all facade. I can look at women now and I see that I see it in their eyes. They're like, yeah, I'm really not shit. That's hard to say, but I really do see it in women's eyes. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm really not like. Please don't idolize me or put me in some place where I don't belong. I'm just a woman. Okay, I'm really not shit. I'm having a hard run at this life. I'm broke. I feel scared. It's hard to find a good man out here. It's hard being a woman in today's age too. Don't get it twisted. I think it's really hard to be a woman in today's day and age, especially with the economy. You know, it gets hard. You know, and I think women are kind of scared right now, but they'll never show it. They'll never tell you. You know, and I can't blame them for that. Anyways, I wanted to make this video and just say that yeah, it's an interesting little mind game that's going on, but I uh I hope chicks find something of substance to build their confidence up. I guess, you know, even if you have 3,000, you know, potential guys that are swiping up on you, it really doesn't mean much to chicks. It doesn't seem to hold any weight. It it doesn't build up their confidence, and I don't know what will. I don't know what will, but I don't know. This video is kind of all over the place, but I've seen it in enough women's eyes that they literally tell me with their eyes, they're like, I I uh I don't have anything going on. Like I'm not shit really kind of right now. Oh, it's okay, man. Like, oh man, life is just so full of so many illusions. If you're not careful, if you don't have Jesus Christ and God to help you sift through, the fakery of the world. Imagine living your whole life thinking that something was a magical, strong castle, only to find out that it was a castle of sand. And I truly believe since the dawn of time, men were always supposed to just live their lives and build empires and things. Women were never supposed to be idolized and pedestalized like they are and worshiped like they are. I don't know a woman that loves to be just worshiped, like a healthy chick that needs to be worshiped. I think most women know the jig is up, the facade is kind of falling apart, and reality's coming for everybody's ass, and it's gonna hurt. A lot of people aren't ready for the truth, and that's okay. It's gonna hurt. But there's gonna be a reset of the mind, and men are gonna have their place, and women are gonna have theirs, and I think it's gonna be more harmonious than it is right now. It's gonna be far more harmonious because right now is chaos. Women are ruling men with lust, and men are becoming weak and docile little creatures, little goblins, and we've made a big giant mess of the situation to the point where women, you think they'd be confident, but they'll literally just do everything in your presence but open their mouth. That's such a weird ass thing to me. It's like you literally have not enough confidence to say nice shoes, nice socks. Look at your earlobes, sir. Your earlobes. I like your earlobes. Anything. It's a strange thing. Whatever. With the right chick, I have no problem talking to her. I have no problem building her up. I have no problem, talking with her briefly. And I think that's where girls get their real confidence. That's what I've noticed is when a man approaches them in a decent way. See, a man approaching a woman in a decent humanity type of way where there's no fucking smooth talking, nothing extra. Just a simple approach that carries weight. That is the I noticed this girl perked up. I highly doubt this. A lot of chicks have ever just had a decent approach by a man. That carries more weight, I truly believe, than like 100 dating dating app matches because it's real life. There was courage involved. There was so many dynamics involved in the whole situation. And a girl can have a little pep in her step after that. Like, damn, there's a room full of people that could have criticized this guy. There's a room full of people that could have laughed at this guy. That is true courage. Rather than most guys sitting on the couch and swiping up on their dating app. And so there's a spark of chemistry. That blonde I approached the other day, she literally followed me after that. And she had more energy and she just had more light in her eyes. She just had more power. I don't know. I saw her doing pull ups and she was giving it her all. And I think that's what people need more. I think this digital shit's kind of making us sick. But whatever, I don't make the rules. The digital age might take over. Probably will. But nothing's ever going to replace human interaction, strong human qualities of courage and resilience and self-belief. Nothing's ever going to replace that. And that's why our society's so sick. Because you can have 3,000 matches on your dating profile and it won't carry any weight. And I think any chick that hears the sound of my voice right now, if you're honest, you probably agree that The digital shit doesn't carry any weight, and it's not boosting your confidence like you think it is. Anyways, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I just had to ask, why are women so insecure in person? Aren't they the social creatures? Us guys should be, we don't talk as much. We don't move in that way like you guys. You guys will be chatterboxing. But I find it interesting that you women will come into my presence and do so many crazy things to grab my attention and follow me here. I'll go from here all the way to the other side of the gym and then turn around and then you're right behind me again. But you guys have lost something where you just don't know how to open your mouth in person anymore. And I guess you guys might be still living up in the clouds or something. I don't know. I gotta before I say too much, I'm gonna head out. Peace.